Mr. Jaco, I have a question for Mr. Jaco.
I've struggled with something. I got a dog named Scooter. I don't have kids yet, but just recently he's an Aussie Doodle, so I've become more conservative now, you know. I come home, my fiance gets mad at me if I'm on my phone. She literally tells me, put it down and say hi to Scooter or else he doesn't feel loved. So I've become more conservative on that. But then it was weird. I would drive down the highways on I-35 or I-30, and I'd see these signs. This goes to every state house legislator we have in Texas, and every senator who's federal, and every congressman. I don't care who you are, where you come from. I don't like this. Tell me why, or do you think it's bad imagery, where it says, free lap dance, 20 wings, and 2 pitchers of beer at this business entity. Or where we have signs and, you know, Mr. Bob, sure, very where? Can we go down 30, what I'm talking about? I don't see, I'm pro-business, but I'm not pro-selling the moral fabric of our country.
Yes.
There's 2 types of capitalism. 1, bad, 2, good, you know? And from what you've seen as well, this imagery that you're driving down the highway, I wonder if I have a daughter, and she's 8, and she sees a half-naked girl on the side of, you know, a billboard, and it says, come over here, unlicensed massage therapist.
Yeah, right.
What the hell does that mean? Unlicensed massage therapist. So, 1, from your knowledge, what is this the beginning of? Because I'll be honest, I didn't notice it until I got Scooter. You know, but, no, I noticed it before that. But it's propping up more and more. Is this illicit imaging to our brains? Is this normalizing it? Can you kind of elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brother, when you start having toddlers, call me.
I'm scared, man. I'm
I
scared.
got 3 under the age of 6, so we can talk. No, it's a really good question. Look, our organization is also a nonprofit. It's sharedtogethernow.org, and our job by God's design is to highlight evil in all 50 states, bring awareness, and then activate the local community to take that city back at whatever level that is. Okay. So Marketing 101, I'm in film and doing marketing. Marketing 101 says you have to see something 10 times before it sticks, 10 times to reinforce, 10 times you'll become a buyer. Okay? So that's what that is. It's reinforcement. But it's not just there. We've come so far since the sexual revolution in the 60s, okay? And just FYI, there's not a single civilization on Earth's history, okay, that has survived that embraced sexual immorality. Not one. The Greeks fell because of sexual immorality. The Romans fell because of sexual immorality. The French fell, and America's falling because of sexual immorality. How do you do that? You desensitize, you reinforce, you see it over and over, right? So there was a time when men needed to exploit women in order for women to be exploited. Today, we have done such a horrifically terrible but good job in exploiting women in this country that women now self-exploit. This is Beyonce on a float, halftime at the Super Bowl, 9 months pregnant, reenacting the sex goddess, telling every 12-year-old, this is how you get attention from boys. Those images stick indefinitely into the inner mind of a 12-year-old. Average age of sex trafficking in the US is 12. Why 12? Because there's not a woman in this room that between 12 and 15, you did not go through puberty. Your first period, your first cycle came. You didn't know your body. You couldn't talk to your father. They gave you a book to read. Nobody spoke to you. You realized boys are interesting, but boys my age are idiots. I like older boys.
Damn.
And the predator knows that. The predator is looking for the soft target. So we have to raise the risk profile of every child in America. And the way you raise the risk profile is you have this conversation. I don't want to talk to my 13-year-old. You better, because their friend are, the billboards are.
Yes.
At 8. Porn entry today in the US, porn entry for boys is age 8. 8. So now when your poodle or whatever it is you have, see that Scooter sees the billboard, or your child, it's reinforcing what they're now hearing in the classroom. It's reinforcing what they see in sport, what they see in celebrities, etc. So it's reinforced. So it's normalizing sex.
So we're actively like subjugating, letting it happen. So
we are doing the grooming today. The pimp does not have to do the grooming today. The cell phone device, and this is why, and this is a shameless plug, honestly. I went, Marsha Blackburn, amazing. Ted Cruz is a champion #1, and it's good to see you again. It's good to see you. Ted is an absolute warrior. Okay, so is Marsha. Marsha Blackburn called me the night before she had Zuckerberg on the Congress floor. She said, Jaco, what do I ask him? I said, press him on child sexual exploitation on Facebook. Press him. And she said, what's he going to do? And I said, he's going to plead the 5th. He pled the 5th 15 times on that question. Okay? He said, He said it's an algorithm. You're right, Mark, but a human being wrote the algorithm.
Yep, that's right.
And you can change the algorithm. 20 million child porn images on Facebook last year. We're going after so many, Zuckerberg, Dorsey, they can't stand me. Those guys can't stand me. So we had to deliver something else. No pun intended. So I'm a co-founder of a platform called FreeSpace. And FreeSpace is a new social media platform where the inventors of the technology came to me and said, Jaco, we want to hand you this. Will you write the terms of service as to protecting children? And I said, yeah, I'll write it. And it's the only social media platform on earth where literally in the terms of service, it's zero tolerance to porn, child sexual exploitation, etc., etc. And because of that, we've trained over 100 FBI agents. But if we don't proactively take communities back in this conversation, okay, so Mayor Betsy Price, Fort Worth. Everybody loves Betsy Price. I've got one question for Betsy. Betsy, why do you have strip clubs in Fort Worth?
That's right.
You know Babes Fort Worth on the line?
The counter's going to be, hey, you know what? It's capitalism and they got the license.
No, brother. I want to just bust one myth.
By the way, I'm just saying the counter.
I want to bust one myth real quick, okay? Our Vice President of the United States right now, this is my call out to her. Absolutely, I respect the office, not the person, okay? Right, our Vice President of the United States right now is working very, very hard to legalize prostitution in all 50 states.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
I want you to understand something. The only state where prostitution is legal currently is Nevada. If I ask, raise your hand if you think prostitution is legal on the Vegas Strip. Okay? It's not. There's 7 counties in Nevada, and the Strip is not one of them. By legalizing prostitution, illegal prostitution and sex trafficking goes through the roof. Just like illegal narcotics in Boulder, Colorado went through the roof when they legalized marijuana. You attract the bad crowd. The legal brothels in Nevada can't sustain the demand of sex, so they sell women illegally, right? It will never work, ever. So when you hear a politician talk about legalizing prostitution because that will stem the tide, child sexual exploitation will explode when that happens. Because the legal institutions will not sustain the avalanche of people coming into your state that want to buy sex. Go look at the Netherlands. Go look at South Africa. Go look at any country where prostitution is legal. Sex trafficking is out of control. So it's always going to come down to the lawmaker. Section 230, a joke. Okay? It's a joke. Whichever holds, social media accountable today. And I was very honored and proud to serve on the White House Council with President Trump, the task force against sex trafficking. The very pen he signed the executive order with to support these individuals is in my house. 5th day of the new administration, that executive order was reversed. And that executive order put a system in place to connect law enforcement, to fund law enforcement, to have cross-jurisdiction conversation in law enforcement. Day 5, President Biden reversed that executive order. I'm just asking you to ask, what kind of a human being or system reverses an order that's there to protect children? None of these people profile which kid they want to help. None of us ever ask, are you a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, black, white? I don't care if you're a Smurf. We're coming to help children, but this administration, flat out, my opinion, speaking for myself, they don't care.